Hi folks, today I have for us a video of what can only be described as one of the dumbest frauditors of all time who gets so upset and outraged over a street sign. But before we start today's video, a big thank you to all of my current and new channel members and subscribers. Without all of your support, I couldn't keep the channel going, so I thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. And a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Aura. Are you like me, work online or read a lot of news articles online, and you want to keep your data safe? This is where Aura can help. Aura is an online digital security that protects your data with 24-hour monitoring of your personal, credit, and making sure your data doesn't get sold to data brokers. Are you asking yourself, NCR, what do I need to worry about that for? Just recently, Aflac, the insurance giant, reported a data breach of their cybersecurity network by a hacker group called Scattered Spider. Aflac is reporting the attack exposed customers' information, including health details, claims, social security numbers, and other personal information. Click my custom URL link, aura.com/NCR, or scan the QR code to get a 2-week free trial of Aura for yourself and start protecting your personal information and your data. That's aura.com/NCR for your free 2-week trial that you can cancel at any time. Thank you again to Aura for sponsoring today's video. And with all that being said, let's enjoy today's video.
Alright, so this is your daily reminder that your constitutional rights are always under attack. Even when you're on a nice, quiet street, looks like, what constitutional, issues could be under attack here? Nice, quiet street, There's a school here, you can see right there where it says school on the ground right there is where the school zone starts. But this is a public road, and you're like, what could be the constitutional issues, Ray? Are you picking? Actually, no. If you look at this sign right here, this is the most the most egregious sign that local officials could post.
You serious?
To stomp on your constitutional rights. This sign has no bearing in the law. It says, searches of vehicles. By entering this area, the person in charge of any vehicle consents to the search of the vehicle with or without cause by school officials or police officers. So, and to make matters even worse, if you look at the corner of this sign right here, right in the corner, it says to reorder call Great American, and it has a phone number. Now, this is, you can't just put up a sign and, trump the Constitution and overrule the Supreme Court.
Shenanigans.
Nah.
Shenanigans.
Nah.
And we're calling shenanigans, folks, because this sign is not unconstitutional. One, it's not implied that just by going into the school zone that your car is subject to being searched or your person. What that sign is referencing is if you go onto the school property with reasonable suspicion, the school may search your vehicle or your bags, primarily for students, because they would still need reasonable articulable suspicion to do a search. There is a Supreme Court case that allows schools to do this, and we'll discuss that later on. But in this case, just merely entering the school zone with that sign doesn't mean the school or the police can search you for no reason.
The only thing close to this would be a Supreme Court case called New Jersey v. TLO. And in that Supreme Court case, it held that school officials can search children and kids that, students, with a lower bearing of suspicion, reasonable suspicion, instead of probable cause, on school property, not the road, not, this is a public roadway, it doesn't apply to, if I were to drive in a school parking lot, like this sign says. So you're telling me, once I pass this sign in my car on this public road.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
And this road is not like this just goes to a dead end and then it's just a school there. This road, it goes down and then it goes to the left and then there's more residential. All right, and here is the Supreme Court case on its Wikipedia page. The case was from 1985, like I said, New Jersey versus TLO. In a landmark decision by the Supreme Court of the United States, it established the standards by which public school officials can search a student in a school environment without a search warrant and to what extent. So, okay, when you get a search on the side of the road by a police officer or any kind of search or seizure, 99.9% of the time, there has to be probable cause established to search your property, search your belongings, to search your house, because it's just very invasive. Somebody searching your car is like, it feels like you're being violated, and it's, they're going through all your personal belongings and, and all of your things. So it has to be pretty, extensive. And, the Supreme Court essentially in this case, the logic is it's a school. A lot of times it's filled with children, a lot of children, and in order to, keep things safe, and also when you drop your kids off at school, they're in the custody of the school officials, and it's just a different perspective when you got a different set. It's a very specific set of circumstances are schools in America. So the Supreme Court just decided that students, not their parents coming to school, not their brothers coming to school to pick them up, not their relatives, that students can have their belongings and things searched, but not just for any nilly-willy reason. They have to have a lower, standard, reasonable suspicion.
Now, he's leaving out crucial information here. New Jersey versus TLO is a case about searching students and if it violates the Fourth Amendment rights. TLO was a student in a middle school bathroom who got caught smoking. Upon being taken to the assistant principal's office, they searched her purse, finding cigarettes, drugs, drug paraphernalia, and a list of names. She was arrested. She appealed her case, saying that they violated her Fourth Amendment rights. It went all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, where the U.S. Supreme Court, in a 6-3 decision, said that no, the school did not violate her Fourth Amendment rights on search and seizure. It also determined that schools have the right, if they have reasonable suspicion to suspect that a student has brought contraband or drugs or cigarettes to school, and it's well within their rights to protect the other students by doing these searches, but they still need a reasonable suspicion to do so. They don't need a warrant, but let's say, well, like again with the TLO case, a student is caught in the bathroom smoking, and they search the student and find cigarettes or other tobacco products. That's justified. That's all the reason they need. They just can't search the students randomly.
And then they can search the students' belongings. But like that unconstitutional sign that's up, that does not extend to a roadway next to the school to anyone driving down the roadway, and it does not extend to the police can just go ahead and search your belongings. The Supreme Court didn't say that or anything even close to that. So you're telling me once I pass this sign that a cop can just say, hey, we can search your car, get all your bags at the car, open your glove compartment, pop your trunk. I'm looking through every single thing that you have in there.
What an idiot.
Literally, the sign would be something out of Nazi Germany. Literally, like literally.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
When you pass this sign, you consent to search. You cannot do this, right? And so this sign has been here a while. I've been coming to this area for years, and I've noticed it before. And what do we got here? A person parking their vehicle. This sign has been here for a few years now. As you can see, it has, it's old. It's not a new sign, right? It's old. And that goes to that no one's challenged it. The fact, I was going to say the fact, but then I'm like, it's not a fact no one challenged it, but actually is a fact. Because a sign like this would not be able to hold up in court.
Where are you getting your information from? Because this is one of the stupidest things I've come across. I mean, you're mad about the sign being there, and you're assuming that it means that the school and the cops can stop your car and search you on the roadway. That is not what that sign means. That sign is a warning of what happens and what you're subject to once you enter school property. Now, if they were to stop you on the roadway and use that sign as reason, then yes, that would be unconstitutional because that would be considered a Fourth Amendment violation. However, what they are stating with that sign, and we've seen signs like this before in jails and in prisons, that yes, once you enter upon the property, your vehicle and your person is subject to search. Though this applies to students, it could apply to the parents' vehicles if they have reason to believe the parents are contributing to it. But they would still need reasonable proof to do a search.
At all. If this went in front of a judge, maybe a local judge would do a corrupt ruling, but immediately once it went to an appellate court, it would immediately be taken down, as soon as somebody saw this at first glance, right? All right, and one may ask, Ray, what's the big deal? It's a sign, like, who cares? How does it really affect you? The issue, here's the
Get ready, everybody. He's about to do something stupid.
issue with that sign, is that, one, I drive down that road all the time when I'm here, and two, the major issue is that you can have some officer who is dumb, which we all know there's a lot of them. There's good officers, there's smart officers, and there's dumb officers who will try and enforce that. And that's a problem. If I were driving on that road and an officer said, this sign says that I can search your car. Now get out of the car, get your backpacks and all your luggage and all your personal belongings and open the trunk, and that now we're going to search your car and search all of your, personal belongings and, do an in-depth search of you. This sign gives us the ability to. I'm not going to do it.
This is by far one of the biggest leaps and jumps when it comes to frauditing over a sign. What has happened to common sense with you frauditors? Has it gone extinct like the dodo? Because officers know they can't use that sign to enforce a search of your person or property. They would still need reasonable articulable suspicion to search your vehicle. Now, if there was, let's say, an open container of alcohol, okay, that's reasonable. They want to search your car to make sure you're not drinking. If they can see that, that would be reasonable. But just because the sign's there doesn't mean the officers can, hey, the sign's here, we get to search you now. It doesn't work that way. The police know that. People with common sense know that. Why don't you?
And I'm going to tell them that this sign is unconstitutional, and we may get into a disagreement right then and there, and now we have a huge issue because some local legislative body, or I don't know, the school, I don't know who put the sign up, but because somebody put this sign up, now we have an officer that's telling me that he's going to just, you pass the sign, I don't have to have reasonable suspicion, I don't have to have probable cause.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
I'm searching your car, get out the car. Huge problem, and, there's other things that sign may akin to that are unconstitutional. So when you pass that sign, does that mean that an officer can now just pull you over for no reason? Can he just get behind you and pull you over and say, I had no reason to pull you over, but since you're in this specific area and that sign says we can search your car, to be able to search your car, I have to be able to pull you over.
Well, he's fairly intelligent. Ah! He's full of shit.
And you consented with no warrant or anything by driving through here, that now I can search your car. So now I pull you over, you need to get out of the car, and we searching your car. And I'm like, well, why? And what are you doing? We don't have to have a reason why. We're just searching it, and that's what the signs say, and that's it.
This is further proof that he did not read that case. He just found something that went with what he needed. Because the TLO case states that the schools, in order to search students and their belongings, need a reasonable suspicion to do so. If they have a reason, like with the TLO case, of a student in the bathroom smoking, that is reason to search their locker and their bags and to have them empty out their pockets to see if there is any cigarettes or tobacco products on them or in those areas. Just because you see that sign doesn't mean the cops can use it to pull you over and search your vehicle. They would first need a reason to stop you, and they would also need reason to search your vehicle. Your argument is so flawed, it lacks any bearing of proof or reasonability or anything that would be considered rational.
It's not allowed in America, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the big problem with that sign. And then, because a lot of things, we would just have a big problem. We would have a, you see, I don't even know how that would go. We would have a big problem. Well, if with me, I guess it would go, I would just tell them, no, I'm not getting out the car. And then I guess they would say that they're going to arrest me or something and then pull me out of the car. And then I would just clarify, like, you're going to arrest me if I don't get out the car. And if he said yes, then I'd be like, okay, then I get out the car. And I'd just be like, I don't consent to you searching my car. I'd put him on notice. I'd specifically invoke the United States Supreme Court versus TLO. The New Jersey versus TLO Supreme Court case and tell him you don't have, that sign's not valid. It's like blatantly unconstitutional.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is, an unlawful, search here. Just as bad as it gets. And then if he did it, then I file a lawsuit. And that's how that would go. But who wants to do all that? Why do they even have the sign up, right? Why is that sign even there? But these are the types of things that we have to deal with occasionally. And I don't know, maybe there'll be an update, because if I'm in that particular area, there will be a issue, and you guys know me that I will leave no stone unturned and see things all the way through.
I'm just a little confused here. I think you guys are as well. But doesn't it sound like he's saying he's going to do something to provoke them to search him, and he's just going to sue them? I mean, that's what it sounds like, right? You're saying on one hand that you don't want to do a lawsuit and who has the time for it, but yet you would sue them. You're going to try to find a way to get them to take that sign down. The sign's not unconstitutional. It's not saying that they can search you for being in that area. What it's stating is if you go onto the school's property, they can search you if they have reasonable suspicion to do so. The problem this Frauditor has is he's trying to make the argument of he is going to be the next Chile. He's going to be the next LIA by getting the sign taken down. You're not going to get that done, and it's not unconstitutional. It just sounds like you're trying to find a reason to sue to get some go-away money. To
their, conclusion. And I'll definitely get a just conclusion. There'll be no resource or anything that I wouldn't be able to have or unspare. That sign is so bad that you would, that gets into the territory of where you would have like ACLU and Institute for Justice.
Wrong!
Stepping in if there was like a judge or, the judicial system tried to uphold that, or if, that turned into a big issue. Because that's like really insane that sign is there. But so, yes, that is the big problem with it. For those of you who are wondering what a sign like that could lead to, it could lead to, a disaster.
And this is where the video ends. clearly he doesn't understand common sense and what that sign really applies. I mean, this is clearly one of the dumbest frauditors I've ever come across. And if he thinks that sign is unconstitutional, God forbid what he thinks of a no smoking sign at a government building would be. So if you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up and a comment because it really helps with the algorithm. Don't forget to check out my second channel and the podcast. And don't forget to click the link in the description box for your free 2-week trial of Aura. With all that being said, be well, be safe, and I'll see you guys next time. And a special thank you to all members of the news team. Without all of your support, I couldn't get the channel going. So I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. You guys mean the world to me, and I could never thank you enough. You guys rock.